going down. Mayday, we're going down!
So in terms of the comfort, I thought it was overall pretty good. First you have this control skin material right here, and then it transitions from the red part, control skin, to the black part, prime knit. So the prime knit's going to be a little bit thicker against your foot, while the control skin's going to be a little bit thinner. So it does give you a nice feel against your foot, and it really is pretty comfortable, at least for me. And I do have narrow feet. So if you're going to buy these, make sure that you try them on before actually purchasing them, because the sizing can vary a little bit depending on what foot shape you have. If you have wide feet, you should be fine. If you have normal feet, you should be fine. But if you do have really narrow feet, that's when I would really recommend trying these on before purchasing them, because of the fact that they are laceless. But the comfort is overall good. Next is the fit, and obviously, because of the laceless design, it isn't perfect. So the first time I wore these, the first thing I noticed is that moving forwards and backwards was perfectly fine, but when I tried to do side-to-side movements, that's when I felt that the laceless design really wasn't the best thing. I could feel my foot slipping inside the shoe kind of from side to side, which wasn't really the best sensation, and to be quite honest, there are better shoes on the market. But I do think overall the comfort and fit is great. Next up, we have the feel for the ball, and I think this is where this boot really stands out. So obviously this boot is laceless, as you can see, which does give you a very distractionless feel. So you do get a little bit of a questionable fit, but you do get a very good touch in return for that. So first, like I said with the comfort, you get this control skin material. Then it transitions into the black part and you get this prime knit material, which is extremely soft. So with the control skin, whenever you're passing or shooting, you're going to notice that it feels really thin and really nice against your foot. You get a really one-to-one sensation with your foot and the ball. And whenever you're controlling or bringing down a ball from the air or something, whenever it hits this black material right here, you're going to get this really dampened effect that you can't really get with any other boot besides something like a leather boot, almost like a Tiempo. You really get the best of both worlds here, meaning you get a thin synthetic here, and you get on the thicker side, which means on the thicker side synthetic, which means that you get a more controlled dampened effect, hence the name Pure Control. I think that not many boots can actually rival this in terms of feel for the ball. So this is one of the best boots that I've ever tried in terms of this category. So yeah, big thumbs up to Adidas when it comes to the feel for the ball. boot is actually really good. This boot has a turf configuration, which means that you're really only supposed to use it on an AG field, artificial grass. However, I've actually used these on natural grass and have had no issues. As long as you're not using them on a rainy day, I think you should actually be fine on natural grass as well as artificial grass. So I really had no trouble with the traction. However, like I said with the comfort, whenever I was maneuvering from side to side, I did feel like my foot was slipping a little bit inside the shoe, which was kind of uncomfortable at times. Next up, we have the durability, and just like the feel for the ball, it is absolutely great. So obviously, being a turf shoe, Adidas had to improve the durability compared to the firm ground version. I've personally used these for around 3 months now and have had absolutely no issues, and to be honest, when I clean them, they look as good as new. If I were to complain about the durability of one shoe, it would not be this one. And if you're looking for a really durable, good, reliable shoe, this is definitely the one to get. Alright, let's come to a conclusion with this boot. Whether it be comfort and fit, feel for the ball, traction, or durability, the shoe really is good in all categories. I think the boot really stands out in the feel for the ball category and the durability category. I think with the traction and the comfort and fit, Adidas can improve the boot a little bit, which is why if I had to rate it out of 10, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. So the two real minuses that I have about this boot are the fact that when you first wear these, you're going to notice that the fit is a tiny bit different than a normal shoe will be, obviously because of the laceless design. So it does take a little bit of time to get used to it. I personally did get pressure marks the first time I wore these, but they did go away eventually. Another reason I would give these an 8.5 out of 10 is because I do feel like they're a little bit heavy. I think the next thing that Adidas could have worked on, or will work on, with the Purecontrol is the weight. Whenever I was shooting, I just felt like these things were way heavier than the likes of a Vapor 11 or even just a standard whatever boot you want to compare it to. Obviously the Vapor 11 being very light, that's probably what I'm used to. But I still felt like these were a little heavier than they possibly could be. And I think that Adidas could have removed a little bit more material on this boot. Whenever I wear the shoe and I bend it like this, I can see a lot of extra material coming up from my foot. So maybe it's just because I have narrow feet, but I do think Adidas could have done without some of the material used on this boot. So I definitely can recommend this boot for any player that's looking for a very, very good feel for the ball and a controlled feel. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're new. See you next time.
Just black and white.
Oh!
Just black and white.